The first talk of the second session, if you like, or part two, is from Richard Purves, a name I didn't know until I got involved with SHAAP within the past year or two in terms of my more deep involvement, but everywhere I look he pops up. He's doing a lot of good work. He's a research fellow at the Institute for Social Marketing and Health at the University of Stirling, one of our close working partners at SHAAP, and particularly doing excellent work in various fields of sports marketing and sponsorship. And Richard's going to give the first two presentations on this talk, which is close to SHAAP and Eric's heart. So Richard, I'd invite you to speak now.
Thank you, Alistair, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's really great to be here and to see so many people. It's a really great turnout. Eric was instrumental in SHAAP co-funding two research projects, which specifically looked at alcohol marketing during sporting events. And this story began back in 2015, I think, and the team at Institute for Social Marketing and Health had an idea to investigate the alcohol marketing at the upcoming Euro 2016 football tournament. And we felt this was important as France, which was the host country of that tournament, has comprehensive restrictions on alcohol marketing. Some of you might be familiar with Loire Van. It includes an outright ban on the alcohol sponsorship of sporting events. So Carlsberg were continuing to be one of the key sponsors of this event. So it provided a key opportunity for us to examine the alcohol industry's response to Loire Van. And we brought this idea to the attention of Eric, and he recognized the importance of the project. And he mentioned that SHAAP, alongside the Institute of Alcohol Studies, may be interested in funding the project. And Eric was incredibly supportive in developing the research proposal and in securing the funding, so we went ahead with the project. And the study examined alcohol marketing references during Euro 2016 through broadcasts in the UK, France, and Republic of Ireland. And we chose these countries as the tournament provides an opportunity to explore whether the volume and type of marketing differed in broadcasts across 3 different countries. And for this project, we sampled 18 matches from each stage of the tournament. Now, you might think it was a lot of fun to watch football matches, and I'm a football fan, but sampling 18 matches and going through them in meticulous detail took a bit of the fun out of it. But we developed a customized tool to identify and categorize all the alcohol marketing references that appeared. So, for example, the location of the reference, the duration of the reference was on screen for, and the brand it featured. And a reference was defined as any reference to an alcohol brand that lasted a second or more, and included things like electronic static pitch-side advertising, branded merchandise, television advertisements, sponsorship lead-ins, branded packaging, all those things. And we found that on average, there were more than 100 alcohol marketing references per broadcast in each country. And most of these references appeared during the match, where the footage was found to be the same in all the 3 countries we looked at. And the most popular location and format was electronic pitch-side advertising. Now, importantly, we found that almost all the marketing references were what's known as alibi marketing, which is the practice of using features that are synonymous with a brand, but without making an explicit reference to the brand name itself. So, for example, during Euro 2016, the lead sponsor, Carlsberg, only used their slogan, "Probably the best in the world," on the advertising hoardings around the pitch. But the text was presented in the same font, the same colours that they used for their main brand name. And we concluded that although the overall proportion of direct brand references, so featuring the brand name, was low, the high proportion of what we called indirect brand references demonstrates that alcohol producers were able to circumvent Loire Van using alibi marketing. And the limited differences that we found between the 3 countries highlights the importance of, say, a host nation's regulations for international tournaments. And this is something Eric was very, very keen to look at. And he was also keen to stress that regulations to limit alcohol advertising need to be rigorously enforced and monitored, and there needs to be clear lines of accountability explicitly outlined in law. The resulting report, I've seen other people pick up reports, so I'll pick up one as well. Oh, it's a blur my screen. It needs to be close to my face. There we go, foul play, that's it. It gained really good media coverage in the UK and also in France, where the NGO who monitored the Loire Van, ANPA, so ANPA, challenged Carlsberg's sponsorship activities during the tournament. And the findings were first presented at the European Alcohol Policy Conference in Slovenia, where Eric and I would like to say, bonded over our shared love of the Eurovision Song Contest. that was quite a night. I'll always remember it. And following on from this, during one of our final meetings for the Foul Play project, we discussed the volume of alcohol marketing in other sports, and that included rugby union. And we also discussed the impending restrictions due to be implemented in Ireland's alcohol bill. And Eric again recognised this would make a really interesting research project. And he mentioned that SHAAP, alongside the Institute of Alcohol Studies, may be interested in funding the work alongside Alcohol Action Ireland as well. So this led to our most recent piece of research, alcohol marketing during the 2020 Six Nations Championship, where we utilised the same coding framework we developed during the Euro 2016 project and applied it to the alcohol marketing visible in UK broadcasts of the Six Nations Championship matches. And these matches were played in the UK, France and Ireland in a similar way that we looked at the Euro 2016 matches, but we wanted to look at the frequency and nature of alcohol marketing during the tournament, how Ireland's impending restrictions may influence alcohol marketing practice, and to what extent France's Ivan law impacts on the frequency and nature of marketing during the tournament. And for this, we learned our lesson from the Euros. We only looked at 4 matches for this, but I can tell you that was more than enough. We looked at 2 matches played in Ireland, 1 played in Scotland and 1 played in France. And we found that alcohol marketing was most frequent in the match played in the UK. And you'll realise when I say there was 961 references in the match, why we limited the sample. This was followed by 2 matches played in Ireland, which had 754 and 690 references each. And then the match played in France had 193 references. And in all 4 broadcasts and in all 3 countries, references were mostly observed during the match in high-profile locations, including large static logos in the middle of the pitch, logos on the match equipment, for example, the ball, the goalposts. In Ireland and Scotland, almost all these references were explicit branding, whereas most references in France, again, used alibi marketing. So, for example, the phrase greatness as opposed to the brand name Guinness, albeit using similar fonts and colour. And in all 4 broadcasts, no references contained age restriction warnings, and only a minority had clearly visible responsible drinking messages, which they were supposed to have. So this data had mixed implications for Ireland's new restrictions in advertising, which just came in on Friday there, I think. On the one hand, the data shows that the new controls prohibit some of the most frequently used marketing activities, for example, that highly visible static logo on the pitch, but it also shows that alcohol marketing already appears in a variety of other locations that won't be restricted by the new controls. And we also found again that alcohol sponsorship was evident in France through alibi marketing. So questions remain over the monitoring and enforcement of the French law, and that has implications for the context in Ireland and any consideration of controls in either the UK or elsewhere. Again, this report earned widespread media coverage in Scotland, England and Ireland. It was recently raised and answered as a question in the Scottish Parliament. And without Eric's contribution, neither of these projects would have got off the ground. And this important evidence regarding the circumvention of the Waravan and just the extent of alcohol advertising visible during major sporting events would be lacking. And I'd just like to finish by thanking Eric on behalf of everyone involved in these research projects for his foresight and his willingness to fund what we believe is extremely important research. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Richard. That's great, and I think that these studies really have captured not just interested parties here's imagination, but the wider public. I know that the Foul Play paper and more recently the Six Nations work has really attracted a lot of press interest, and I think that the cover of Foul Play with that picture of the Carlsberg that probably is a very striking cover.